Hello beautiful people. In this video we're going to talk about definition of done in Scrum. And I know a lot of you are practicing Scrum and using agile methodologies to improve your chances of success on projects, and I admire you for that and have done that myself. So what I want to talk about now is the importance of bringing definition of done into that context where we are using it as a tool to enhance our ability to be able to do what we wanted to do Scrum and Agile for in the first place, which is to be able to improve the success of our projects and avoid the risk of burning out our teams. The Scrum Guide, which is always a good thing to go to, says that the definition of done is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product. That's all well and good, but the reality of it is the definition of done is something that if it's simply a description written down in a cell in a spreadsheet or in a text in a Jira doc, in a Jira task, is it puts us in a position where we are all have different interpretations of what that might be. And you've seen this yourself. If you say to someone, okay, what do you think this means? And you give them a definition and you gave the same definition to 12 different people, you would probably end up with 12 different interpretations of what that really meant. When DoD doesn't live in the conversations of the team on an ongoing basis, and we don't allow for it to morph and change and grow and build and become more robust in our interpretations, what we're doing is we're doing it as a sort of checklist at the end, and we're saying, oh yeah, that looks pretty much like what it was we set out to do, box checked, we're done. And we put ourselves in a position where we are either going to end up with a bunch of rework, or we're going to end up with big backlogs, or we're going to end up with embarrassing demos, or we're going to end up with a bunch of people who feel like they failed. Shared understanding, and I can't overemphasize this, and I think I've talked about this in every video that I've done for you, but I think when we look at the idea of shared understanding, that is something that we're looking to build. We're looking to build a shared understanding of definition of done as we go through the Scrum process. So it's really a Scrum artifact, but if we treat it as just a thing, then we're going to run the risk of it not being robust shared understanding we want to build across the teams. So it guides our sprint planning for sure, and it helps us define what can be pulled into a sprint, because per our definition, it's a description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures. It also helps us with sprint reviews in terms of clarifying what is eligible to be demonstrated, and it supports our sprint goals in terms of aligning the work in a shared completion threshold, and it helps us with and informs our retrospective because the teams reflect on what done actually meant. Now, if we understand that and we can weave that into every part of our sprint work, then what we're doing is we're evolving our understanding of it. We are building a more robust understanding of it. And it lives in the Scrum work and in our Agile practices. Then the question becomes, who owns DoD in a Scrum situation? So the Scrum team collectively own it, but I've always found when you say, okay, collectively, we're all owning everything, that it results in no one owning anything. I'm super interested and have found enormous value in really looking at who are the people who hold the concern in the room for whether or not there is alignment between the work that we're doing in the Scrum and whether or not it meets the definition of done. Invariably, what I end up doing is I say, yes, the Scrum team collectively needs to pay attention to it, and we all need to build an understanding of it, but there needs to be one person in the room, where it's the lead or whoever it is, who is the person who is holding the concern for that alignment in the room, and they're bringing that topic into the conversation on an ongoing basis. The product owner ensures that it meets expectations. So to a certain extent, I would be looking to the product owner to be the person who is effectively the customer for declaring satisfaction with the delivery on the definition of done. And what I'm doing in there is I am putting us in a position where we want to be able to have our definition of done be something that can have a certain amount of flexibility built into it. And the reason for that is as we start moving through our Scrum progress and as we start understanding our capability in terms of what it is we can and cannot get done, and as we get new learning happening around different technologies that we want to be able to bring to play on a certain project, and they might show up in different Scrums, is we want to be able to have someone who is our go-to person, who has a certain level of, who has the authority required to be able to make subtle but significant changes for the purposes of our Scrum to the definition of done. And the reason why I think that that's important is that's one person, that's usually the product owner. But if we view them as the customer for declaring success, then what we're doing is they're not just the person who checks a box at the end of it, they're a person who's an integral part of the conversation that we're having as we grow and evolve our understanding and the implications for the work that we're doing as it relates to DoD. The Scrum Master is obviously essential in ensuring its integration into the work that we're doing and its execution and the Scrum execution against that definition. So let's talk a little bit about what it should include. Obviously, it's going to include code written, reviewed, tested, and integrated. We got that. Documentation updated. We got that. Whether or not we always manage to do that every single time at the right time is another question, and I think it's an important one, but not one that we're going to dwell on at this moment. And work accepted by the product owner. Accepted by the product owner, is that the same as the product owner is declaring satisfaction? Now, the deal with that conversation and why I think that conversation is important is we're asking not only have we completed the definition of done, but have we also delivered satisfaction to our customer? Now, in a Scrum environment, the customer may not be able to declare satisfaction on the results of one particular Scrum, but if we weave that thinking into our design, we're going to look at how we bring Scrums together to really be able to deliver on a certain level of functionality. And then our conditions of satisfaction for that functionality are clearer. As we design and build out our Scrums, that becomes a kind of a guiding light for navigating how it is we're going to put them together. We're looking at the technical aspects, we're looking at the competence aspects, but we're also looking at the functional and demoable and delivering satisfaction aspects for particular increments of work that we are doing. So as we start thinking about DoD as it relates to Scrum, make sure that you are bringing your understanding of DoD and of satisfaction and of the importance of customers in terms of declaring satisfaction and being able to help us negotiate or slightly change satisfaction as we go through our learning process as we build out the increments. Make sure that you're incorporating that into your process or into your practices as to how you incorporate DoD into your Scrum work. If this thinking around coordination, around satisfaction, around definition of done and conditions of satisfaction, around internal customers declaring satisfaction is something that piques your interest and helps you think differently about some of your software development and project management work, then I have a white paper that I think will be valuable for you. There's also a number of other videos on this topic, but the white paper, there's a link to it down below in the comments. It's also available on my website, which is www.jenniferkenny.com/execution. And that talks about the broader context of this and the implications of beginning to use some of these practices embedded into the projects that you're already operating in and running. As you look to improve your skills in this space, let me know how it's going for you. Drop me a line in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Take care and good luck.